Welcome to Derry episode 3. Bloody hell. I really like this program. Honestly, this program has consistently, week on week, just gotten better and better and better. I honestly didn't think that this would work as a TV show. I thought it would be, it's one of those things that, because you've seen, the story, you've seen the whole sort of mythos, I guess, of it, Pennywise the dancing clown play out in the movies. And they're long movies, mind you. They're not super short films, right? And you explore a lot in there. I wrongly assumed that this would not be as interesting as it is, as engaging as it is. And boy was I wrong. This is a superb show. Superb. Yes, we have our archetypes of the Losers Club. Yeah, sure. But we also have this awesome story centered around the airbase and everything that they're doing, intertwined with the Native American deals going on. All of this stuff is melding together to prove to be a genuinely engaging, thoroughly entertaining story. Really appreciate this. If you haven't watched it, I will say, go give it a watch. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. HBO, once again, has outdone themselves. Once again. It's actually been quite a good year for TV, I think, this year. And film. But anyway, I digress. What happened? Well, let's start with the adult stuff. Because there wasn't a lot in there, but there was enough. Okay? We learn that Dick Halloran, one of the airmen, one of the forces guys, he has psychic powers, basically. Right? He has psychic powers. They're using him as a human compass to hone in on whatever is going on, whatever landed in Derry some 300 years ago. And they're aware of it. They know it. They're aware of it, kind of, vaguely. They don't really know what they're dealing with, but they know that there's something there. There's something going on. And so they've been using Dick Halloran as a human compass. And he comes face to face, kind of, with Pennywise. He's in his lair. Psychically, has some kind of connection with him briefly before he manages to escape. And that whole sequence, yeah, honestly, you'd think it was back in the movies again. You'd think it was like another $200 million movie. It was brilliant. Really, really good. And that's the thing with this. I need to double check, see what the budget was. But my God, they're doing some great things with whatever budget they've got. Because, again, not all of it is superb. Not all of the effects are like top notch. But majority of it, it's there's a higher quantity of good stuff than there is negative effects, right? Stuff which is quite weak looking. Most of it looks really, really strong and is really, really good. So that was quite interesting, I think. And then he ends up going to dinner with Leroy Hanlon and his wife. And that's actually where we learn a little bit more of his psychic abilities. He's actually able to read people's minds, basically. And he reads Hanlon's mind that he's got a boy. And it's quite interesting. It's quite a very compelling conversation. Because Hanlon's like, don't you ever get in my head again, blah, 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 blah. And Halloran's like, no, don't worry, mate. I'm not interested in that. I'm not going to. He's like, what do you mean? And he's like, I looked into your mind. Halloran was one of the people that were there threatening him to test him, basically, right? And at that point, he looked into his mind. And he's relaying this back to Hanlon. And he's like, yeah, most people, their life sort of flashes before their eyes. Most people see, their wife, their family, all these kind of things. You didn't. You were cold. You were calculating. You were analysing. You are not someone I want to fuck with. And I was like, that's great. What brilliant dialogue. How awesome is that? I mean, honestly, genuinely, really, really good dialogue. So I love that. Love that. Love this sort of building up of this narrative. Also, the leader of the airbase, Francis, I think his name was, General Francis Shaw, was also, we learn of his backstory. He came face to face with Pennywise at one point, not as Pennywise, but as something else. And his story's interweaving with the Native Americans of the area. And I like that. That's quite interesting. But we learn that, the more you leave Derry, it has a way of making you forget things. He forgot all about it. He forgot that he came to face to face with this creature. This sort of mythical old being, older than time itself. And I thought that was quite good. Love that. Again, now we're bringing in the narrative of the Native Americans. That's all very, very interesting. I can't wait to hear their story of what this creature is. But they sent a cease and desist to the military, being like, stop. No, guys, this is our burial grounds. And they're obviously like, no, we're going to keep going, bro. Shut up. Love it all. That's great. And anyway, the kids stuff. Oh, just as an FYI. I've kind of already said this, but not all the visual effects worked in this episode. The old man chasing young Francis Shaw through the forest. Some of it looked a bit wonky. But actually, some of it's kind of charming in a way. Honestly, some of it kind of adds to the uncanny valley nature of it all. And makes you a little bit more like, ooh, a bit unnerved. I didn't hate it. Genuinely didn't hate it. And as it goes, the first 2 episodes, the effects, by and large, have been brilliant. So I kind of overlook this dodgy one, I guess. Then, on Proto-Losers Club, as it were, perform a seance, kind of, because they're like, well, we need proof, right? We're going to take photos of this thing. We're going to try and prove so we can save. I forget his name. I forget the character's name, but we're going to try and save the chap that's been wrongly accused. Okay, cool, fine. Grogan, his name is. Sorry, Hank Grogan. We're going to try and save him from jail, from prison, from frying. The electric chair. That whole sequence, brilliant. We now are finally getting teased the clown properly because they took some photos of it. They're like, oh, it's a clown. Lights out when they've developed the image. So I do wonder what's going to happen there, because they took some photos and there are actually zombie kids in the photos, which had obviously subsequently chased them and blah, 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 blah. Brilliant. I love this program. I think this is great. Yeah, it's not massively scary, but meh. I mean, it's Pennywise. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've kind of seen it all. Some of it's like unnerving, but I'm more captivated by the actual story. Like, I want to know what's going on. I want to see what's going to happen next week. I think it's a great show. Really, really good show. Genuinely recommend. From my perspective anyway, I could genuinely recommend it. So if you've seen it, what did you guys think of the episode? If you haven't seen it, again, would recommend. But thank you so much. If you've enjoyed my reviews weekly and you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. It'd be good to have you here more often. But that's me. Done. I'm out. Bye-bye now.